gangster shit, you gotta be on gangster shit because you're guilty by association. And he's closely intertwined and connected to it. You know what I'm saying, nigga? He go, yeah, your right hand man, or his big brother, so to say. From my understanding, nigga, Chucky come with Lil Zach now, so they go way back. So you guilty by association. But when I saw the video, I said, man, them some kids that killed him.
Yeah,
Them some babies.
most definitely.
And come to find out, it's some babies. Some babies that come through my organization that I done work with. Knew them from the area. So knowing what I know, this is a long-standing situation. Between the ape gangs and the hood fame, nigga, it's been a divide in this city since these niggas been in elementary school. Ape gang started as a group of elementary kids. Hood fame out of middle school kids. So these cliques that started when they clicked up in gang as kids. That's when I come about. So I've been their rival, I've been their opponent since they've been in school, homie. Most of these know me from the juvenile detention center, mid-level, JD Hall, the alternative school. Most of these know me from working with them in crossing their path through the juvenile system. So I've been having my thumb on this pulse for a minute. That was my fight with the Fort Worth Independent School District. My 40, go, boom. When I saw that video and it wasn't number kids in there with guns, and then I started following the rise of Go Yayo. So no, man. No. This is near and dear to me. We made the news behind this. This is how I became in tour with the streets in this city. The Crip and Blood. Cause I'm saying these y'all kids in they gang. So you got Crips and Bloods in the same gang together. Most of the OG that was doing the doctor, these was y'all kids and y'all nephews that's just doing this shit. So that's how I started fighting with the street. So
we're gonna play a little bit of this. He actually is gonna drop a lot of great information throughout this interview, and he actually talks a lot about the education system in the Fort Worth. I think it's the Independent School District. How this rapper that he's talking about actually went viral, and the school system actually started allowing this guy to like come out to the schools for like their pep rallies and stuff and perform this song that had so much violence in it. And he said it was like one of the first videos that had like a lot of guns and children holding guns. But this is one of the big things that we don't talk about is the black on black crime in communities. We're starting to continue to see it more and more. People don't like to talk about it. We only really bring it up when there's a black life lost by a white person or to a white person. With that being said, is that if we continue this vicious cycle, this is what we're going to continue to see. He's going to actually talk about too as well the suburban areas, and a lot of people aren't aware, but if you're from the Dallas Metroplex area, a lot of the suburban areas actually have become some of the most violent areas, and he explains why as well.
When I seen this, and I know we know who done the shooting. The name just coming up that's doing the shooting.
Yeah, they identified the shooters, but they haven't. I guess people of Fort Worth may know, but
yeah,
publicly they haven't released the name yet.
And this was a kid who everybody had on the internet. This was a kid that made the internet rapping. I cussed out his mama. This the little kid talking me to everybody be posting this, and he ain't gangster.
The shooter.
He was hanging with J-Dub, and he was hanging. So all these were murderous children. J-Dub was a serial killer. He had 2 funerals. So there's been a beef within our city. This ain't the first baby that done got killed behind what these niggas done. This ain't the first baby that done died in Fort Worth, Texas. This ain't the first father that done died with his baby.
And he's going to get into some very impactful details. And I think this is something very unique because he starts to explain that the world only shows us when it's someone that we feel is popular or someone that we feel has impacted the culture in some type of way. That's the only time you hear about these things, but it's innocent children being killed every day. And we're so busy worried about alcohol coming off the shelves in Canada. We're so concerned about DEI. We're so concerned about Targets and Costco's. But where are the pastors? Where is Jamal Bryant when you got this 5-year-old daughter who was just killed last week? Where is Al Sharpton when you have this 5-year-old kid that was killed? Where is Ben Crump when you see these type of killings? See, we only see people when they want to make money off of a family or when it seems fit. But then you have people who really are in the community who continue to see these vicious cycles, and we don't talk about that. And I really appreciate this. I know a lot of times Charleston White can go viral for the wrong reasons, but he always has some type of substance within his videos. We just get caught up in the character that he plays. But I always tell people there's a message even in the mess. So
just last year on the Southwest side, they shot up some shit, and two babies died at a car wash with their dad. It was just last year. This ain't new. But because he's a popular rapper, the same baby that's being accused of shooting it went to juvie for shooting a 2-year-old in the Buttercups. This ain't the first time a baby done got shot. But because it's a rapper and he's a popular rapper and he's a well-liked rapper, now it's, oh man, this is sad. This ain't sad. This is normal. This ain't new. If you remember 7 years ago in Chicago, a man was getting into it with some niggas online. They beefing online. He go to the McDonald's drive-thru. They kill his baby in the drive-thru. It was all on social media. It wasn't no backlash, and they went online bragging about killing the baby. It wasn't no backlash for that. So this is the time Charleston come out and say, man, I keep telling y'all, I told y'all, this is where y'all become hypocritical. Because we have an obsession with entertainers and rappers and street niggas. We love them. But the common man and they baby can die every day, and we don't have this same level of emotional response or compassion.
And that is so true. And that's why when you guys hear my rants and I'm going off even about politics and things of that nature, it's because I look at things from the everyday person. You guys look at everything from the big picture of what social media wants you to see. And, you know, for myself, I grew up in the ghetto. I grew up in the hood. Anybody who watched this, if you go look up 2000 Grimmett Drive, apartment 1815, you know what I mean? In the Northwood apartments, we grew up in the hood. You had Northwood apartments, Grimmett Drive apartments, and then right in our backyard was Turkey Park. All three, 2 apartment complexes, and then a whole community behind us. It was all different gangs, all different crimes. We've seen so much death that we have started to normalize it. And it's so unique to me that we aren't seeing people talk about these things. And you can't say that it's because it happened in Dallas, and because this made major news. This rapper Lil Ronnie made it all the way to the Breakfast Club. So people are aware of this, but you're not seeing anyone talk about this. If we can take all the energy that we use to go into Costco's with Al Sharpton and go into these communities and support these young children who continue to see nothing but death and see it as a vicious cycle, you can't talk to me about nothing, because that's where change starts. And as he mentioned, these are little kids who are now adults, but they were raised by other murderers in the city, things of that nature. And he's going to go on to say a few more things. I'm going to play a little bit more because he gets in depth, and I really thought that he did a great job breaking down the community and the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex.
Our neighbor, our own cousins, our own brother, our own aunties. So I'm saying, man, yeah, it's sad. But as angry as y'all think y'all is, this happen all the time, homie. And I hear people say, women and children off limits. Those have never been the rules. Who told y'all that women and children are off limits in the streets? That ain't never been the case. You can go back to the roaring 20s when the Italian mafia first come into America during the Prohibition era. Women and children have always been the casualty because all they say, if we can't get you, we'll go get them. The cartel will go get them. So who told y'all that women and children are off limits? Remember we started gang banging, y'all? And they started doing drive-bys, and you would go shoot up somebody's house not knowing who was in there. Children and women got shot then, people. We kicked in his door. We took his main honey. Kill both. I'm looking at rape. I'm looking at kidnap. It's in the lyrics. It's in the movies. So I just want to let people know there are no official rules. There is no real rule book to the streets. These rules are made up as they go along. There are no rules. The rule is it ain't no rule. It ain't no rules to do wrong. Man, children off limits. No, they're not. Because I know some to get your kids if they can't get you. It's been done before. That's what started the war between the Jamaicans and Dallas back in the day. When the Jamaicans went and killed the woman and the children. That's how the war broke off and started.
Let me ask you this. Does Fort Worth, does it get more dangerous after this, or does the authorities tighten up?
It's already been dangerous.
But do authorities tighten up? Because now this is worldwide news. You said it's a rapper now, so now it's a high profile case, and it's a kid. Do authorities tighten up, or does the streets get crazy this summer?
The authorities don't tighten up. They're desensitized to this.
And that's what I keep saying. If we want to change our narrative, you got to pull up your pants. You got to stop killing each other. You got to stop doing snatch and grabs at these jewelry stores. We are the only people who can save our community. These police officers, they responded to the scene. Putting their little placards down for the shell cases, wrapping off the scene. They don't care. They go home and sleep well. They make sure they ain't living in these areas. Some of them are commuting hours in so they can come to work and then go home to a safe suburban area. We are the only people that can end this cycle. We are the only ones that can end this cycle. It starts with us. But we spend our time again. I know you guys, if you watch me a lot, you're going to continue to hear this quote from Malcolm X. We are in the middle of the ocean worrying about the people in the tub. And that's what you're seeing here. There's a million young minority African-American children out here living in poverty in their own inner cities, living through crime, having to walk around, worrying about what's going to happen if their mama or daddy is in the streets. Those are the kids that we need to be touching and saving. And if you look up the history of Charleston White, that's what he lives his life on. We get caught up in the YouTube antics of Charleston White, but if you start looking at what he's done for the community of Dallas-Fort Worth, he's done a lot, and he's invested a lot into the community. That's why he could come on here and talk all this crazy stuff, because the people who really know him in the city knows what he's done for the city.
This don't move them because they see it more often than we do. We only see it when it's publicized. They see it when it don't get no attention. They've been watching this beef, homie. They don't watch all these kids grow up just like you. When they get the killers, it's hard for, homie, when they catch the killers and the killers are babies, it's hard for you to be outraged. We're in a legislative session in Texas right now. When we done that interview with that young lady who killed that kid who was trying to break into the house, homie, we propelled that lady into a national spotlight. She's now in Austin with a law that's being passed with her name on it, that people who live in apartment complexes who rent property can no longer be evicted for protecting themselves with a gun. She got a law change because of her experience. Nobody's gonna do nothing about this. These young niggas are already warring and killing. I'm almost willing to believe this is what the police department wants. But I know some people who work in the police department. I know some people that run the violent intervention prevention program out of Fort Worth, Texas. I know their spirits, I know their hearts, and I know this ain't what they want. But nigga, ain't nothing nobody can do because it just didn't start today. These seeds was sown when these was elementary school. How you gonna come uproot that shit?
And what he's saying is that's the same vitriol that people have about slavery, right? We're so dedicated to the 400 years that our ancestors went through that we'll boycott, we'll stand on things, we'll do all these things, but we don't do the same thing for these kids who have been indoctrinated literally into lives of crime. We have to learn where to put our energy in. And then when you're looked as a black man, when you looked as a person who thinks conservatively, you're called every name in the book. But it's usually people like myself or other people who are actually giving back to these communities, who are actually looking out for these children. Because you all know, if you do follow anything about Charleston White, he is conservative. I'm sure he voted for Trump. But that's not really important, because what's the most important thing is I want us to start understanding that where are the people when we need them? Because we need them within the cities. We don't need to fight these big fights. We will never change what's going on at the White House. We'll never stop government shutdowns. We need to stop worrying about liquor going off the shelves in Canada. We need to stop worrying about where you're spending your money at Costco's or what you're doing. What we need to be concerned about is what's going on in your community. What are you doing in the grassroots areas of your community?
The roots of this, man.
You said the city went against you when you were trying to go against the Fort Worth drill shit, and now you said you're not trying to make it about you, but you've been trying to warn people, and people were entertained with it for years, and then now everybody's upset because of shit that they helped.
But this is what I want to tell people, because it's Lil Ronnie. And Lil Ronnie is a well-liked individual, great personality, good-spirited, good-natured, popular guy, well-liked and likable. So it's easy to hurt with him and for him. But it was a kid that died with Go Yayo in Houston. Lil Brandon. He was a kid. This ain't I'm saying, homie, they shot up a house. Another kid was killed on the couch. Its children have been dying in this city for 12 years or longer due to the youth rap violence. I ain't gonna say but this.
So as you can see, Charleston White is definitely well versed in what's going on in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Shout out to Charleston White. I know everybody doesn't like him, like his opinions, but I've always been for us trying to do better in our own communities. And this shouldn't take celebrities or what local celebrities, because I don't know how popular he was. I never heard of the guy until he passed away along with his daughter. And they go on to talk a lot about a lot more items, including, the rapper Yayo going to schools in the Fort Worth area, performing at pep rallies, to this song that he came out with. Goes on to talk about the suburban areas, why they're becoming so violent. The reason why he said they're becoming so violent is because what Forest Hill used to be a great area. My homeboy B, we used to go there all the time when we traveled back and forth from Louisiana to Texas. His parents used to live there, but they moved. So Forest Hill was a great area. Net was real quiet, no violence. But now that area has become a little bit more rougher, and he talks about the reason why is because now your rappers or your gang members, what happens is they end up meeting young ladies or females in that area. They have children that they want to get their kids out of the hood, so then the children and they'll move to this suburban area. But what happens is that crime continues to follow that person, and it moves and infiltrates into the suburban area, and then that area just becomes another high crime area because you can't escape the karma and everything that's about to come with the person and what goes on. So again, as we continue to fight for all these useless fights when it comes to politics and everything that are going on there, I want people to understand that there's a lot of other fights that we can be